Hello and welcome to Geek Addicts, the pop culture podcast where the straight A student who's an anime nerd and plays D&D somehow has more swag than anybody else. My name is Matt. With me as always, Bill Barber. How's it going, Bill?
It's going good. Going good. It's officially May.
It's gonna be May.
It's May. We're about to get a lot of Star Wars jokes coming up.
Hey, well, you know what? It may almost be Star Wars Day, but it is also almost Goku Day, which I realized this week that we planned nothing for Toriyama month. So
we can figure that out. Anyways,
I mean, it's not the biggest. We don't have to do like a full month. I mean, technically, we have an episode which, at the time of recording, will come out in a few days. So I mean, technically, we got at least one Dragon Ball in this month.
It's gonna be a random,
completely unplanned, but
be a random little diversion in the middle there. But yeah, totally planned. Yeah, it's also free comic book day, to be a little topical of our topic for today, tomorrow.
Oh, really?
A lot of stores
apply anywhere, or where does it apply?
I mean, Newbury Comics probably will do something. All the local comic shops I stop by probably will do something. I don't know what it exactly entails this year, but
I might have to convince it because I already talked to Cindy about going to the library tomorrow. Now I might have to fucking twist her arm to go to Newbury too.
Yeah, let's see what's going on. A lot of deals apparently and stuff, so it's always fun. Gotta go browse as usual.
I did actually just get 4 comic books in today.
Nice.
Because 3 of them I got a really good deal on because I got 3 compacts for $10 total. So
nice,
solid.
Yeah, my local comic shop was doing like a mega sale, so I bought a bunch of shit today.
Nice, very nice. Yeah, I got the Arkham Asylum compact, the Harley Quinn Wild at Heart compact, and the Authority.
Nice.
Whatever that is. I have no fucking idea what the Authority is, but whatever. That's part of the fun of the compacts. Is like it's giving me an excuse to fucking check out stuff that I never would have even given a second thought to. So
that's cool. Yeah, it's been other than that, this has been one of those weeks where I've just been exhausted though the entire week.
No, I feel you, man. There's actually one day this week that I had to get up at 3:00 in the morning because I had to go in earlier than usual, and I already go in early. I'm already like in at like 5:30 every day anyway, so I had to go in even earlier, which was just lovely.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
But I'm finally starting to catch up a little bit, so that's something.
Nice. No, I like one of the days this week, like I straight up slept through all my alarms, woke up at exactly the time I needed to be up, or else I was gonna be late. I was like, oh shit. All right.
Hey, at least it worked out.
Yeah. No, other than that though, yesterday was probably the one day I actually did stuff. After work, me, Thrak, Tony, and Chris, we all got on the Switch and we were playing that Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles like Hades clone. We played that for about an hour, and we were like, we kind of were over it. So then we just started playing Mario Kart World, and shenanigans were happening. It was fun. It was good.
Yeah, I saw you guys were in the voice channel there, and I wanted to pop in, but I was in the middle of a bunch of shit, so I couldn't do it.
No worries. Yeah, we were just fucking around, basically playing Mario. Good time though. Good time.
Very nice.
Hopefully, we're gonna make that more regular going forward.
I hope so. Well, hopefully it'll happen on a day that I can actually pop in and do something. It's been a while since I streamed. I probably should at some point.
Yeah. I wish I had the time because I'd love to do some of that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I've read some comics this week.
Nice.
Because I had had I finished Far Sector last week? I don't remember.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, okay. So I read I read or finished rather Batman Court of Owls,
Nice.
which I did really like. It kept throwing curveballs at me, and then there was the part where he was going through the maze and you had to keep turning the book. Like that was like it's kind of a cool way to show like how disjointed and fucking like how much he was losing it in that particular part of it. It was pretty fun.
Yeah, Snyder's got a very interesting way of doing that kind of stuff. It's so weird because like the way it's written, you really have to it's like a reboot, but it's not a reboot. It's kind of annoying in that way. But there's a reason why Scott Snyder's Batman run is considered one of the few books during that era that was like flawless, like one of the few that people actually fondly look back on. Yeah, just a little messy with the whole DC having no idea what the fuck they were doing at that era.
I gotcha. But yeah, there was that. There was I read the one that we're covering today, and today I read the Flash Rebirth run, which is like the first like 6 issues of that particular compact, and then there's like 7 more issues of like a separate storyline.
Yeah, it's a combination of the Flash Rebirth and then the Dastardly Death of the Rogues.
Yeah, because I read the Rebirth stuff, but I stopped as soon as that ended. So
yeah, Rebirth's okay. My problem with that book is the fact that I still think Barry Allen being resurrected was pointless.
Even Barry Allen thought that as it was happening. He's like, "Why am I here?"
Because the problem that Barry has had since he came back is writers don't know what to do with him. Because they tried during New 52, they erased Wally from existence and just said, all of Wally's cool stuff, let's just give it to Barry. That will work, right? What? You don't like that? Well, Wally's never coming back, so just accept it. What? You still don't like this? Okay, fine, Wally's back, but we're not going to make him the focus. We're still going to give Barry all his stuff. What? You still don't like that? It took like Joshua Williamson writing him and finally fixing all that shit to like get the character re-railed properly. Unfortunately, he doesn't have powers at the moment, continuity-wise. He's kind of been put on vacation temporarily, so we'll see what happens. Wally's the main Flash again. But
gotcha.
Yeah, Rebirth is a weird story because despite the focus of that story supposed to be Barry, that's more of a Wally story. Which
in a lot of ways, yeah.
Which is partially why it's so fucking not. It just feels weird.
Especially being the first Flash comic I've ever read. Yeah.
There's a lot of lore shit that you probably have no fucking idea what's going on.
Yeah, a lot of shit went right over my head, especially because like it like became very apparent just how much the Flash series is just kind of doing its own thing.
Oh, the
CW show?
Yeah.
It's very, very much doing its own thing.
Which is fine. That can live in its own bubble. But it's like, because you open this up and it's like Wally has 2 kids and a wife, and you're like, what? What?
Well, even going beyond that, it was just like Barry's like, oh yeah, my nephew Wally. Like, wait, what?
Well, that's
in the
time.
In the TV show, it's his like stepbrother.
Well, yeah, that's because that gets into because you gotta remember when Rebirth came out, they hadn't created the second Wally, which was originally how they were gonna replace Wally with that Wally, and no one liked that. So then they made that Wally a separate Wally. So now there's 2 Wallys running.
Hey, you know what's really funny too is like how you've talked like to no end about how like they just have no fucking idea what to do with Wally. That's exactly where the fucking TV show is at because Wally's just been gone forever. He pops in for like an episode or 2 a season, and then he goes away. It's like they have no idea what to do with Wally here either.
Well, the problem with that Wally is that Wally came out. They unfortunately cast that character at the worst possible time because when they cast him, that was the main Wally, but then they brought back the original Wally, and their characterization they were going for does not match where that character is in the comics at all anymore. And it's a confusing mess. And I think they were kind of like, shit.
Well, yeah, but again, like they're clearly doing their own thing, like to a huge degree. I mean, fuck, in the Flash CW series, because I realized this today as I was reading the Rebirth run. Barry dates the woman who becomes Wally's wife.
Yeah, he dates Linda Park early on in the series, and fans did not like that. People were like, no.
Because like I saw Linda Park West, and I'm like, wait a minute. And I had to fucking do a quick Google search. And I was like, oh, okay.
And then the reason it pissed comic fans off is that relationship started in the 90s, and we went from, like, they actually developed. Like, they went from meeting to not really liking each other to liking each other to dating to getting married to having kids. Like, we saw Wally's entire progression throughout the night. That's why Wally West fans are very, very annoyed by this stuff. Like, we are very, because we literally saw his full story. Because, like, you're literally, when you read Rebirth, you're literally getting the tail end of Wally's original story. Like,
I can tell. I can tell.
Like, there's like 3 entire different runs that happened before this that all build up to this, and I'm just like, oh, Rebirth is not a great place to start, unfortunately.
No.
What they tried to do was they tried to do the same thing that they did with Green Lantern Rebirth, which was the Green Lantern Rebirth famously brought back Hal Jordan, and it like rebuilt the Green Lantern core into what it is today.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a great starting point, because that was the start of Jeff Johns' like phenomenal Green Lantern run that went on for like almost a decade. That makes sense. Doing it with the Flash after Barry had been dead for so long by this point, like,
it was decades, right? It was like at least 2 decades.
He died at the end of Crisis in 1986. Like, he had been dead for a while, and they brought him back in 2009 in Final Crisis, and it was like such a nobody asked for this revival.
And come to think of it, Final Crisis is when the Milestone stuff got like folded into DC proper, right? I know there was still like some weird shit with that afterwards because of like legal shit, but
it was either Final Crisis or it was Flashpoint. I'm not really sure.
I know there was a New 52 static run that failed miserably.
Well, like most New 52 runs that weren't Batman or Green Lantern, they didn't promote these things very well, and no one probably was even aware, because they've released 52 fucking books, and like most of them got canceled after like 4 issues.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what happened with Static too.
Probably because most people probably like they didn't promote it because fucking Didio wasn't going to promote anything that he didn't grow up with. Yeah. I'm pretty sure Barry coming back was a Didio thing, because Didio hates Wally West. Like, despite Dan Didio, the former publisher, like guy who had most of the say at DC before he got fired, he famously hated 2 characters more than anything. He hated Wally West and he hated Dick Grayson. And he got rid of Wally. He tried as hard as he could to ruin Dick Grayson multiple times. Like the end of Infinite Crisis, where Superboy dies. Originally that was supposed to be Nightwing, but
okay.
Jeff Johns refused to write it. So they compromised and did Superboy instead, because they were going through legal shit with Superboy at the time anyways. The second time was after the New 52 run, because Dick was Batman for a little bit. They immediately put Bruce back and got rid of Dick as Batman, because God, he can't be special, he can't progress.
They did that in one of the movies too, didn't they?
Yeah, they were referencing they were referencing that, not the same story but similar. He's been Batman a few times. Usually
he deserves it.
And
he deserves it.
He doesn't want to be Batman. That's the thing. He does it because he has to. Like when he takes over for Batman, when Batman dies in Final Crisis, he gets better. Don't worry. It's mostly he does it because he knows he has to, because the only other person that was trying to be it was Jason Todd. And he wasn't going to let that happen.
Yeah.
But eventually he goes back to being Nightwing. Then Dan DiDio's first attempt at ruining Nightwing was he had him be unmasked publicly so everyone knew it was him, and then fake his own death to make him go away. Then he made him a super spy in an attempt to ruin the character so no one would like it. But the fucking book, it was just called Grayson. He was Agent Grayson. The book was so well written that people fucking loved it. And it backfired miserably. So then they made Dick Nightwing again, and it was popular. And he was like, well, I'm going to ruin him again. So he had him get shot in the head off in like a Batman book. And then he goes through amnesia running around as Rick Grayson. It was ridiculous. It lasted too long. It was absurd. But Nightwing fans are resilient. And we were like, don't worry. It'll go away. We'll get through this. And then the Tom Taylor run happened, and it's one of the greatest comic runs in a long time. And Dio's been fired so long by this point. Like, Nightwing's fine. And Wally's fine again, too. All these things happened when Dio got fired. It's amazing how that worked out.
Yeah, right.
Like, one of the best DC writers of all time, Mark Waid, he had said for years he would never work for DC again. The second Dio got fired, he immediately comes back, and he's been working for DC ever since. I'm not saying that's the reason, but coincidence? Like,
I'm not saying, but
I'm not saying, but it's basically true. Let's be real here. Oh
Fair.
man. Yeah, that's my rant about Dan DiDio, because he also vetoed the wedding of Batwoman and her fiance, like, at the time, claiming like he didn't want marriages, but everyone was like, no, you just don't want a lesbian couple. Like, let's be real here. Yeah, he was really anti-marriage in comics for a while there, because during that period, during the New 52, they broke up Superman and Lois. They erased Wally West. Yeah, oh yeah. He was dating Wonder Woman, and it was the most boring fucking relationship you'll ever see. I put the strongest man with the strongest woman. What? It's boring? Who would have thought? We can't actually have development, so we're just going to make them argue all the time, because that's totally relatable. Like, yeah. Oh my god, it was terrible.
Jesus.
I could rant for hours about all the problems with DC, but I'll move on back to Flash Rebirth.
Oh yeah, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, sorry, I went on my I hate the New 52 rant there for a little too long, but yeah, Rebirth. It's a good story, but it also needlessly complicated the status quo for no reason.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Well, because like the thing that drives me nuts about that story is it sets up a really cool concept right at the end, where you've got like all the Flashes are together again, and they all have their new designs. Like Wally actually looks original compared to Barry, and they can actually go back and forth. His daughter is now like the new Impulse. You got Kid Flash and all that stuff. All the different speedsters. When you start reading Dastardly Death of the Rogues, don't forget about any of that, because they don't fucking bring it up ever again. Wally shows up like twice. Like, all those characters show up maybe like twice throughout the rest of the run. It's so irritating. And then like we wouldn't even follow up on any of that until like 2 decades later with the Jeremy Adams run. So yeah.
Comics
and bad management at the companies. Like, it's such a annoying it's such a tragically consistent thing between the big two all the time.
Oh well.
Did you read anything else?
No, that's it. I'm still, like I said, I left off after Rebirth, and that's all I've read this week.
I will say the rest of that Flash run is fine. Like, Johns writes Barry okay. The big highlight of that run is definitely Francis Manipul's art, because he does like this cool watercolor style, and it looks fucking amazing.
That's cool. So that was one thing I liked about the Rebirth thing, is that the art was really nice.
Yeah, the artist who wrote that's who drew that is kind of a piece of shit, though. So unfortunately, yeah.
There was one panel that I really liked where it was a flat. I think he was almost having a flashback, kind of. He's like talking about his past or whatever, and like the lightning. Like, he was running, obviously, because fucking it's the Flash, so obviously he's running. But he's running, and like the lightning's coming out of his eyes, and the lightning is forming the outline of the panels for the flashbacks, and that was actually like a really cool. Like, there's a lot of like out of all the comics that I've read in general, like one of the things that I've really been picking up on is like the really unique panel work for some of them. Like, obviously, like with Court of Owls, there was the whole like having to turn the book because he's all disoriented and going nuts and shit. And then there was another one in the Far Sector comic run. I can't remember in particular, but there's one particular like panel layout that I really, really liked. Where they had like this like kind of like gold wire type of like it almost looked like a fancy window frame or something, and like that was the borderline of the panels, and they weren't shaped like normal panels. It was I can't describe it. It was really interesting.
There's when you get around to finally reading Nightwing Leaping into the Light, there's some amazing panel work in that. Like, Bruno Redondo's art is insane.
I'm looking forward to that because I haven't like spent too much, but I have flipped through it a little bit just to kind of like get an idea of like the art style, and like that was how I knew that like the Titans are going to appear in this. It's going to be a whole thing, so that's fun.
That's a run that I'm kind of planning. I kind of want to reread. I want to reread that at some point because I love that run.
But yeah, that's I mean, aside from that, I've just been kind of like fucking around playing Hit and Run and shit. I haven't really done too much else. I have finished I finished Black Lightning, the show. Like that's done now, and I'm on like the 9th wave of the CW shows. So I'm on the final season of Supergirl as well, which thank God.
Gets rough by the end, doesn't it?
I mean, I kind of didn't really like the show that much from the beginning. See, that's the thing, is there were episodes that I really, really liked, like especially ones that revolved around John Jones, like getting like the Martian stuff. Like, those were really cool. There was some other there were like occasional episodes of like, oh, that's a really cool idea for an episode. And then
a couple times Superman appears.
Yeah, and then we'd move on to the next episode and be like, yeah, I'm bored again.
Yeah.
And then they gave Supergirl's sister her own like vigilante suit, and when they fucking revealed it for the first time, and all the girls are like freaking out because they're like, oh my God, it's so cool and shit. And I'm looking at her, I'm like, that looks so fucking stupid. It's the dumbest shit. It just looks dumb.
See, I have not watched that show in forever. I forgot she had a sister.
Fair.
Because that's not a comic thing.
Fair. Yeah, it's just like, oh my God, dude. It's just fucking... And then, like, a lot of the characters that I actually did like and got attached to, like, ended up leaving halfway through the show, and now it's just like... I will say, like, while there's a lot of things about Supergirl and, like, the shows specifically, Supergirl and Black Lightning, there are aspects of those shows that I didn't like. Some of the performances, and this is something that goes across all the CW shows, some of the performances are fucking out of this world. Like, the guy who plays Brainy in Supergirl, who's like one of the Brainiacs, he's a fucking fantastic actor, because and it's something that especially with like anything DC related where they play with multiple universes and different versions of the same character, like a lot of these actors really get to show off their acting chops in that way, like with Brainy specifically, because he's got the whole like I have these personality inhibitors, and sometimes I connect to the big brain, sometimes I'm not, sometimes my inhibitors are active, sometimes they're not, sometimes I'm just defective, like, and seeing the way he acts with all that stuff. And there's another character in Black Lightning that I get a lot of similar things from. His name's Khalil. His like hero or villain name is Painkiller. And he gets to really show off his acting job. Like, the actor does a fucking fantastic job with that show. And there's always like, one or two actors in each show that really gets to show off what they can do. And that's the thing I really appreciate about these shows.
That's going to be the big thing when you finally get to Superman and Lois, because that's like the last one, and they really go all out with everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I forget the actor's name, of the guy who plays Harrison Wells in the Flash series.
Yep.
Because he gets to play so many different versions of Harrison Wells, like all the different Earth versions of him. He gets to like play around with each, like every season he's a different Wells, so he gets to play around with it and do different things. It's fun.
Yeah. Nice.
And I just like that actor in general.
Nice. I think that's about it.
Also, Wayne Brady was a villain in Black Lightning.
Yeah.
I was not expecting him to show up. That was weird.
I mean, hey, why not? Whose line is it anyways? I mean,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
The points don't matter. Yeah, I guess speaking of comics, we might as well just flow into our topic for this episode.
Yes.
So we're for this one, we're covering Static Season 1.
Yes, the first little mini run, I guess, of the reboot of Static, which apparently, unfortunately, isn't really going beyond season 2. I mean, Static is still getting new stuff, which I'm happy about. Like we got the Dakota incident and the crossover with Batman Beyond that just happened, but I really want them to continue this run, and we haven't had any news yet.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Static, for whatever reason, is a hard sell.
Even though it's incredibly popular.
It is. So is Green Arrow, but you'd be amazed how hard it is for Green Arrow to keep a run going.
It's wild. But yeah, so this is your first time reading this, and I if I'm correct me if I'm mistaken, but this is your first Static comic you've read, period, right?
I've read like an issue here or there because of like he's appeared and stuff, but this first run I think I've read.
Okay. So
like I remember boy, was that opening hard. Like that was a hard open.
Yeah.
I will say my first thoughts, going back to my whole Dio thing, my first thoughts reading this was, yeah, Dio's definitely gone because he would have never greenlit this.
Yeah, right.
Let's see. First thoughts. I didn't hate it. That's a good sign, and I was engaged to read it. Because usually, if I'm not interested, I can like force myself to finish it. This one, I was like, okay, this is fine. I can
it's
read
fairly
this.
short too, which works.
Yeah, it's 6 issues. It's not too like I think it was like 170 pages or something. I was reading it off of DC Universe. Which had the full trade paperback for ultra subscribers, which apparently I am an ultra subscriber. So I just read it.
To Bill, apparently.
I must have upgraded to it at some point to get the issues quicker when I wasn't collecting floppies. But yeah, so I read it in that form, like in one big cohesive thing. I really like the art. So the story features a couple artists. I know it was mostly drawn by Chris Cross as well as Nicholas Draper Ivy.
Mm-hmm.
And then the story was written by Vita Ayala. I'm sorry if I mispronounced.
I think.
Ayala.
Ayala.
Yeah, that's the one. Sorry if I butchered that.
Yeah, that happens.
I'm not sure what else they've done. I'm actually kind of curious about that. I will say the Comic Geeks app, one thing that's really nice about it is you can see like a detailed like thing of like what these artists have worked on in the past. Yeah, let me take a look here. So Static Season 1. This artist writer also worked on New Mutants. So they also came back for Shadows of Dakota.
Apparently, I believe it's the same team for Shadows of Dakota.
Apparently, did some Wonder Woman at one point.
Mhm.
Was one of the many writers for Batman, um, Urban Legends, a bunch of DC stuff for the most part.
Hmm.
Some pretty cool stuff. The artists also mostly worked on. So the artists have been mostly doing Milestone stuff, but they've also done some Batman, some Absolute Batman, some Action
Hmm.
Comics, so a whole bunch of stuff. So yeah, they're pretty prominent in DC overall. So that's cool.
Yeah.
Um, apparently Greg Pak also was a writer on this, but I think that might be mostly for that. If you're reading the trade, I'm not sure if it was included in the compact. They included some additional stuff from the new Milestone universe.
Yeah, yeah. There's the Big Bang like prelude chapter
Mhm.
that kind of like because if you're just getting like the issues themselves, that actually starts after the Big Bang already happens, which is weird.
Yeah,
But yes, this is the full. It has the little prelude, and then at the end, after you finish the actual run, there's like the little like kind of showcase of the new Milestone universe, showing like all the different characters and stuff.
yeah,
Um, one thing I do really appreciate about this book in particular is it's it almost the way it's laid out, like you can see this being like a storyboard for like a film. Like this book as it is could be like an animated film in the
it
DC
could.
universe,
I'm surprised they honestly didn't. I think it's just because Static is a hard sell. It seems to be that way for some reason.
which is wild to me because he's just such a well written, relatable character. At least from
Yeah,
what I've
he's
seen from the original '90s run and from the more modern ones. Uh, while I will say that obviously the modern run kind of takes a little bit more of a serious route than the original '90s run. So
the
he's not quite
only
as like jokey and fast talking as he used to be, but he still has
yeah
his moments. He has his one-liners and such,
the only thing about this run that I saw, which isn't a problem with the context, like subject matter, just this run heavily involves itself with then at the time current events, and it showed quite a bit. And I was
Oh,
like,
I mean, that was kind of the inciting incident, really, because
yeah. My only
with
issue
the,
with that is like years down the line, people will come back to this run and it'll be extremely dated.
well, I mean, it's not necessarily a bad thing, and let's
It's
be real,
not.
some things are kind of timeless, and as much as I hate to say it, that'll probably be one of those things.
Yeah, it's just kind of a thing where I'm just like, I don't know. I don't have a problem with what they were saying. I just like for some reason something about that. I'm like when they take like real life events and throw them in comics like that. I've always been like that's weird to me.
Yeah, I get that. It's like if the
It's
Spider-Man
like
run included 9/11. Like that's it just seems wrong.
did you pull that just randomly by any
Yeah.
chance? You know that happened, right?
Oh, did it? I didn't even know
There's a straight up
that.
there is a Spider-Man 9/11 issue. Doctor
Oh
Doom
my god!
cries in it. Also,
Wow. Okay.
so it's in the Stradinsky run. That's why I know this because I love the Stradinsky run. It's straight up in the middle of like an arc. It just happens, and then they don't acknowledge it again.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's where I was kind of going to that. I'm like, when they do shit like that, I'm like, you remember it, but it's like
Hmm.
that is so random.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um.
I,
And
I
the other
just
thing too is like,
I can't get over the
well,
fact
for
of like for a second I'm like, are you pulling my leg? Like you don't know about that? Oh man.
no. But just for context for anyone who hasn't read it, so in the original '90s comic, and in the TV show, I believe, the Big Bang uh, occurs during usually there's a like some sort of conflict between rival gangs, and then whether it's like somebody hits them with like what the fucking like not nerve gas. It was like tear gas. They hit them with the place with tear gas and stuff. It's like an experimental tear gas, and it turns a bunch of them into mutants or metahumans. In this particular run, instead of happening during an incident of gang on gang violence, it happened during a Black Lives Matter protest. Um, which I mean, yeah, considering that the book came out in 2021, very very apt for the time. Also, I don't
was
know
it
if
2021. I thought it was 2022, or maybe that's when the trade came out.
I think it started in 2021 and went into 2022.
Okay, I think the trade might have come out in 2022.
I'm sure you noticed though, also like when it was for showing that first panel of the protest, they were also wearing masks, so they're also including that aspect of it as well.
They were, but then they also kind of ignore that after.
Yeah, even though it's still like literally 2 weeks later, nobody's wearing masks, so it's kind of like a weird.
That honestly that annoyed me more than the other stuff. Like the BLM stuff, I didn't really care. I was like, that's fine. Like that's a thing that happened. The mask thing though, I was just like it's only been 2 weeks. I'm like, okay,
yeah, right,
whatever, fine. Like I'm not gonna harp on that.
But yeah, we probably won't go into like a full on like beat for beat recap of the story, but we'll just touch on like some things that stood out to us, things that we thought were important, things we liked, things we didn't like, and so on. One thing I found interesting was that while obviously the police doing it the way they did it was, no matter how you look at it, was wrong. But in a way, it's kind of Virgil's fault that all this happened, because at one point he went to the protest in the first place because he was invited by the girl he's crushing on, Frida, who I'm sure some people remember from the old cartoon. Frida and Daisy were going to the protest, and they invited him to come along. And they bump into Francis Stone, better known as Hot Streak. And
was he this much of an asshole in the original series?
He in the series or in the comic?
In the original comic and the TV series, because I don't remember this guy at all.
In the original comic, he was almost worse.
Interesting. Okay, I gotta re-look into that then. Because my God, he is. I wanted this guy dead. Like every time he was on screen, I'm like, go away.
Oh yeah, he's kind of a piece of shit no matter which version you're looking at. But yeah, they bump into him, who's like in this particular iteration has been Virgil's like pretty much lifelong bully, like specifically. Yeah. And he's just kind of put up with it over the years. And this time he's hitting on Frida, and then he calls her a slut, and apparently that was just too much for Virgil. And he punched him in the face, and obviously he didn't like that very much. So him and like two of his buddies all start beating down on Virgil. And then all the protesters saying, hey, all those white boys are beating up that black kid. We should do something. And a huge riot ensues. And that's when the cops start shooting in the tear gas, which is experimental tear gas that they really shouldn't have been using, because I don't think this happened in the previous versions, but it killed a lot of people. Like a lot of people died from that gas.
Also, I had to look up the cartoon real quick just to see what because I forgot what like Frida and Richie looked like, and I'm like, oh yeah, they definitely got upgrades in the comic. They don't look like that anymore.
Yeah, well, Richie looks almost like, obviously like he's updated for more modern times, but in a lot of ways, like his design is almost like the same. In fact, I'm pretty sure in one scene he's even wearing the same shirt.
Probably. Frida looks like generic Bruce Timm DC animated universe design, like number 330. So
yeah.
Although she was voiced by Danica McKellar, which is actually that's interesting. That's a high profile casting, I guess. Oh yeah, this show actually had some pretty decent cast like choices.
Oh yeah.
Who was Static? Oh yeah, Phil Lamar was Static. Duh. Who else would it be?
You know what's funny too is through some of my I was watching a lot of YouTube videos about the history of Static and Milestone and everything. And apparently, at first they were pitching, I think, an Icon. It was the Icon or Hardware show, and then somewhere along the lines they knew they weren't getting anywhere, so they did a heel turn and made it about Static, and they pitched it like teenage Chris Rock with superpowers, which is really funny because what was his name again? The guy who plays him?
Phil Lamar.
Phil Lamar, right? Yeah, he apparently a lot of times when it comes to animated stuff, got cast as a Chris Rock replacement because he does a good Chris Rock impression.
Yes, he does.
So it's just really funny that it worked out that way.
I believe he also was the voice. 1 second here. I gotta make sure I'm correct. Oh god, he has a massive filmography.
Oh yeah, he has been around.
Oh yeah, he was Jon Stewart in Justice League. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And he actually the character was originally played by Chris Rock, but there was a character in King of the Hill for the first season it was Chris Rock, and then after that it was him taking over.
Now, if you've watched a cartoon in the 90s or 2000s, you've heard Phil Lamar's voice at one point.
Or even now, because I'm pretty sure still plays Hermes in Futurama.
Yep.
So yeah, and the other thing is like when the tear gas hits, like yeah, like we mentioned that like a lot of people died in the crowd, but even the people who didn't die, like they got fucked up. Like even like when we got like a brief look at Virgil and he was like bleeding out of the mouth and like he's not doing nobody's having a good time here. And then we get like a little like showcase of like him kind of getting used to having the power. Like there was one panel where like he accidentally shorted out all the circuits in his house while he was taking a shit, which is kind of funny.
I saw that panel. I was like, one of these books. I see.
And then eventually we got another scene when he finally decides to go back to school after all this stuff happens. And fucking, of course, good old Francis is there. And he's picking a fight. And eventually just like Virgil's like, all right, I've had enough. And another interesting thing too is that Virgil has like his powers aren't totally the same as they were. Like there are different aspects to them. Like for instance, like he keeps talking throughout this whole book, he keeps talking about this buzzing in his head and that just keeps building and building until he releases the electricity. And I don't think that was ever really a thing before. Like it's like this, like it's like he's building up too much electricity and he has to let it out at a time or else he just kind of loses it.
Yeah, that seemed to be like a theme with all the people with power, the boom babies as they call them. They all have kind of like this nerf to their powers, which is, I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, because that's another thing too is like I guess like the source of their powers. Because they get into that a little bit here, and it's essentially feeding off of their energy. And when I say energy, I don't mean like Dragon Ball Z, like Ki, like you know, I'm talking like the shit we learned in biology, like actual energy that we get from eating and storing our fat, like real energy. So like, you know, you will eventually burn out and like, you know, run out of power, and you have to eat or, I guess in Static's case, take a glucose tablet to like replenish your powers. So there is like a hard limit for every person with this particular strand of metahuman powers.
Yeah,
which is pretty interesting actually when you think about it. So
go on.
No, you go for it.
I lost my train of thought. It's okay.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, we're so for the Big Bang part, when it kind of started like flowing through other characters, were you confused at all when I started throwing other people at you?
Yeah, a little. I kind of just assumed.
Because that was a little disjointing for me at the first. Because when I read this this was the first Static comic I read, and really the first Milestone comic I read. I wasn't like super familiar with a lot of the other Milestone characters. So like when they started throwing like Icon, Rocket, Hardware, fucking Holocaust, they started throwing all those characters at me. I'm like, I don't know who any of these people are.
Same. Yeah, because the Milestone universe is always weird because it's like always like perpetually. It's either it's not part of DC or sometimes it is. Like you never decide.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with the Dakota incident, that kind of like, I haven't read it personally, but I mean, that kind of making it a clear, like, yes, we're folding it into the DC universe proper.
They might as well. They can just have it be off in its own little area. And like,
Yeah, I mean, it'd just be just like any other separate run. It's just there's this city over here. I mean, DC is loaded with fake cities, so
I mean, yeah, like Metropolis and Gotham are like the two biggest.
yeah,
Metropolis,
Central
Gotham,
City, Hub City, Starling City, they're everywhere.
Central, Keystone, Coast, Hub.
Yeah,
There's a lot of cities.
there's a lot of real fake cities.
Yes.
Um, Another thing I noticed because I don't think I've gotten far enough in the original Static run for the '90s, and obviously being a cartoon in the 2000s, they weren't going to bring it up there. But I did not know Richie was gay.
I wonder if that's a new thing.
Well, from some of the research I've done, apparently it was a thing in the '90s, like in the
Oh,
original
okay.
run. It just didn't happen until
fine.
later.
Huh. I guess
Which
that was
would have
probably
been like would have been a really groundbreaking thing in the '90s to have a gay character like that.
yeah, because there was a bunch of them, but like a lot of them were very. It was like very much a kind of situation because they had to be.
Yeah, it was one of those like, well, it's there, but we're not going to say it or show it.
Which annoys me because then they're just doing. Because now in modern days, there was all these like great characters that they just ignore, and they're like, "We're going to take a character that's been canonically straight his entire thing and just make him gay now." And I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, you had like, cool, I guess.
yeah,
I hate stuff like that just because I'm like, you had characters, like you had all these perfectly usable characters, and you just arbitrarily changed one for no reason.
yeah. Well, it was kind of like when the Kelvin timeline movies for Star Trek came out, and they made Sulu gay. And even George Takei was like, "He's not gay. What are you doing?"
Like if it's a character that's a blank slate and like never really had anything, yeah, that's fine, whatever. But if it's a character that like in the past has been very canonically straight, I'm just like, I don't know. It's like I don't want to offend anybody, but like that always confused the hell out of me. It's like you had so many other options that would have made so much more sense.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
It's mostly I'm just gonna say it. It's mostly Tim Drake. I don't understand why they made Tim Drake gay.
I did not know Tim Drake.
Well, I'm sorry. He's bi now because that just makes it better.
Wasn't there a point where they were trying to make Superman bi?
No, that's his son.
Oh, okay.
John Kent is bi, which John Kent being bi is fine. I don't care about that. That's fine.
Who cares? Whatever.
That's actually a character with no previous backing. So I was like, yeah, cool, fine. That's fun, different.
Yeah, sure. Go for it. Why not?
Tim Drake has canonically had a girlfriend for most of his existence. That's why it's so baffling to me.
But I actually love the way they revealed it with Richie in this too, because it wasn't even like a straight up because there was another character, actually a new character called Darius, in this run, who does blatantly say like, "Yes, I am gay," but Richie doesn't do that. It's like this weird moment where like they're coming over to fix up Virgil's house, which we'll get to that in a minute. But he's like talking to Virgil's sister. And Virgil's like, "Oh, you got to think for my sister or something." He's like, "Come on, Virgil. You're more my type than she is." And that's like the only real indication we get. But I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool."
Yeah, when I read that one, I was like, "Was he always?" And then I looked it up. I'm like, "Oh yeah, cool." And just kind of moved on. I was like, "Oh," because I kind of vaguely remembered that like it was. I don't know enough about the Milestone stuff to really have it fully like.
Yeah. Well, in hindsight, because obviously being the early 2000s, they weren't gonna fucking make him openly gay in the cartoon. But like in hindsight, looking back, it's like, oh yeah, I guess he never really did have anything. Like he never had a thing for any girls in the cartoon. Usually, when it's like a show about teenagers, that's always a thing. So like looking back, it's like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Another change they made in this is Daisy, who was a love interest of Virgil's in the original comics, and I'm guessing if this run had continued, probably would have been again, is also a bang baby, which was not a thing before, to my knowledge.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't like the term bang baby. Just sounds weird.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I get it.
Babies.
I
Yeah.
get it. It's just so awkward the way
Oh,
they
fine.
say it.
Metahuman. Does that make you feel more comfortable?
Honestly, yeah, because that's like canon. That's like a standard thing. Uh,
I guess. I guess.
there's a lot of slang in this book where I was kind of like, this is not my demographic. uh,
But yeah, it's like a consistent thing throughout this run where whenever that buzz like builds up in Virgil's head, like it makes him a lot more like irritable because it's like the buzzing is like really strong in his head when Francis is picking on him in the school after the Big Bang, and that's when like he's just like, no, I'm a hot streak now, and he's like just sparking up and everything, and then Virgil's like, all right, screw this, and he just like just starts zapping the shit out of him.
yeah.
And he's like freaking out all the people around him and everything. And eventually the cops come in and they're like, what's going on here? And Francis is like, I fell down the stairs or something. I don't know. He's like,
I fell.
I don't want to admit the nerd kid I've been bullying for the past 10 years beat me up. So
Nearly killed me.
Yeah. And for some reason, even though he does it like in front of a ton of kids, everyone thinks it was a different kid that did it.
Yeah.
Weirdly enough.
Yeah, I did not get that plot line. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, the only thing I could, because they don't really go into, the only thing I could think is maybe because Virgil is like part of like their nerd crew, maybe he's just so unnoticed on a daily basis that they just assumed it was the other kid with dreads.
Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. That was a little weird. At least he did mention like, oh yes, I zapped all the cameras before I did this. So like, at least it wasn't on recording. But I feel like it would have been a lot more like known. Like Darius wouldn't be the only one who picked up on it.
Yeah, because even his friends are like vague about it. I'm like, okay.
Well, I mean, it's like a specific because they even say like, dude, you kind of freaked us out with that and everything. And eventually, they like link up and they're like, no, it's like, no, we weren't scared of you, we were scared for you. Like you almost killed that dude. Like, which is nice. It was a nice friend moment because it was like that moment where like Richie and Virgil both said sorry at the same time, and they're like, we're being stupid kids.
Yeah.
But then and then we get this really cool like duality of pages where you get like this brief this one page of like the Hawkins family having dinner before the Big Bang. And it's like this really nice wholesome like family dinner scene, which his mom's alive, by the way. We didn't mention that because she was dead in the cartoon.
Was she? I did not remember that. Okay, good.
Yeah, it was like a whole thing because remember she was that was part of the reason why he hated guns because she was killed in a shootout.
Yeah, I'll do it.
But what's it called? Oh yeah, so yeah, we see like that nice, really wholesome family dinner scene, and then like the next page you turn and it's like this dark, gloomy, like post Big Bang, and they're all like, they're very worried about each other, like what's going on and everything. And then fucking Francis shows up at his house and it's just like, I'm just gonna fucking burn your house down.
Yeah.
Which is really fucked. Like I wasn't expecting that to happen, especially in like what issue 1. It wasn't in the first issue.
It was either issue 1 or like the middle of 2.
I think it was still happening at the end of 1 and then wrapped up in 2.
Also, what we find out from that fight is that Francis is actually kind of pathetic. Like his fire powers aren't even that good because all he did was burn the outside of the house.
At least early on, because I think it's implied that they all need to take time to like get used to their powers and figure out how to use them. Because even Virgil, like he evolves a lot throughout this run. I mean, the events of this book happen over the course of like 2-3 weeks,
something like that.
So they're all still getting used to having these powers. Like they don't really like understand the ins and outs of how it all works yet. So that's all going on, and eventually Virgil just like, because he sets the house on fire, and Virgil's just like fucking pissed and he's beating him down and everything. And eventually Francis like fizzles out. He runs out of energy, and he's like going to dip. He's like, yeah, you can fight me, or you can do something about your house. And like we have like this little flashback where yeah, what's his name? Fucking, do you remember the guy's name? It's it's the guy who becomes Hardware.
Good question.
I'm blanking on the dude's name, but the guy who becomes Hardware, who was like Virgil's mentor with like the science groups and stuff, had taught him that like if you use electricity to like ionize oxygen, it'll like essentially suffocate flame. So he uses that trick and is able to put out his house, and it turns out that there actually wasn't a lot of like serious damage. It was mostly superficial damage.
Yeah, it was mostly on the outside. Despite how vicious that fire looked, I was like, really like.
This all must have happened very fast for there to be so little damage. Like, regardless of like, they could say like, oh, his flames are actually more show than everything, but it's still fire. Once it gets going, it's gonna build, So it had
because like, well, especially because they show that internal shot, and all we get is like a broken window, like, and there's like books everywhere. I'm like no, that would have totally gone up in flames. Like, damn, that was a pathetic fire or whatever he did.
Yeah, but so afterwards we get like this whole thing where Virgil's parents are arguing about like what to do, because that's another big departure from a lot of the previous stuff. Is his whole family knows about his powers, like pretty much from the go,
He's not really big on hiding it.
Well, early on at least, he's not really thinking about like, oh, I'm going to be a superhero. He's just like, well, I guess I have electricity now. It's okay. And it's not until a little bit later that he's like, you know what, I can actually do some good with this.
Yeah. But
yeah, there's this whole like argument between his mom and dad about like what they should do. Like his mom, who is a doctor, is like, we need to do tests. We need to make sure he's okay and everything else. And his dad's like, absolutely the fuck not. My son is not going to be a guinea pig. And which is a totally realistic conversation you'd expect two parents to have about this kind of situation. Especially for people of color in America. Like that's, it's a serious conversation to be had. And I'm sure things would get heated. No pun intended.
Yeah.
But eventually he's just like, well, fuck this, like it's my power and I'm the one who needs to figure it out. So I'm going to, do what I got to do. And he calls up the dude, the hardware guy. I can't believe blanking on his name, but he calls up the hardware guy and he's like, yeah, so all this shit's happening. Oh, by the way, he the guy in particular, he actually made the tear gas, and he is actually being blamed for all of it, and the police are hunting him down. So he's kind of on the run. But Virgil calls him anyway. Apparently he didn't ditch his phone yet, but he called them and he's like, yeah, so I can't really do much to help you because I'm kind of running for my life. But here's the code to my storage locker. There's a bunch of crazy science shit in there, so you can just kind of raid it for whatever you want, assuming the police haven't done so already. So he goes there and he gets all sorts of like new equipment and stuff. He gets like some fancy like fucking cloth, and he gets like this like weird experimental like kinetic metal, which it's basically like kinetic sand, but it's metal, and he can like use his electromagnetic powers to shape it however he wants. So he can like make it into a weapon, he can make it into armor. But what he generally uses it for, as we see, is that's how he gets his little like disc that he rides around on. But like he goes in, he grabs a bunch of shit, and then the police show up thinking he's the guy who made the tear gas, and he's like, oh fuck, I gotta get out of here. And I love the scene where he's like afterwards, like he escapes and he's like making himself a super suit essentially, and like he's at the sewing machine and he's like having this little internal monologue about how like some of my fondest memories are like, when I used to watch like 80s and 90s anime that my dad got me into, and it always made me want to be a superhero. And my sister taught me how to sew so that we could make our own costumes because we were too poor to afford store-bought costumes and everything else. And he's like, but I would never tell my sister for that because she's already too big for her britches already.
I will say, speaking of
so relatable.
I will say, speaking of his costume too, I like how like they both. It's like both a throwback to his like original like suit from like the '90s, but then also has like his more modern interpretation later on as well.
Well, that's one of the things I was going to get to is that I love how the initial costume that he makes for himself very much reflects the original 90s comics costume style. And then by the end, when his sister kind of makes him like a reworked outfit, that one's more like what we got in the comic and in the TV show.
Yeah, his like later, more well-known appearance, like design.
Yeah, but I definitely liked how he did the whole like, oh, I got the unitard thing with the hat with the X and the goggles and everything. And then afterwards, his sister gives him, because his sister is an EMT, and she gives him her EMT jacket, which is kind of like puts together the whole classic 90s static look, which I really appreciate.
And then like when he gets his hat blasted off later on, his hair's all frizzed out. I'm like, oh, it's his classic look. Well, his iconic look right there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it really works. It's funny how many times his look changes throughout. And as I mentioned in the opening for this episode, the dude just has so much fucking drip with his outfits. Like he just fucking pulls it together every time.
Yeah.
I don't know how like the super nerd of the school who's like a fucking genius just like usually you'd expect those guys to be like you expect him to look nerdy. He doesn't look nerdy at all.
I did also enjoy too at one point you got the you see on the back of him, I think it's Frida's jacket, it says McDuffie. That was a nice touch.
Yeah, that was actually I love that when they're going to raid the government like black site that's holding all the metahumans. They all show up in like disguises, like even the Frida and Richie show up. But Frida is she's wearing a baseball jersey, and it's the Dakota Milestones, and the player name is McDuffie, and the number is 93, which is the year the original Static run started.
Yep. And for those who don't know, Dwayne McDuffie was one of the main creators of Static. And Milestone.
He passed away in 2011.
Yeah, he's been passed away for quite some time now. But
he was like complications to like heart surgery or something.
Yeah. Now he had a ton of stuff though. Like he was a big writer of Justice League for a long time. He was one of the people behind the TV series, the DC animated universe. He was behind a lot of that stuff. He's the reason that Jon Stewart was the Green Lantern for those Justice League cartoons. That's been debunked. It wasn't him.
Oh,
but it was DC's choice. He just helped make him what he was.
Gotcha.
Well, no, because he used to get blamed all the time that he was forcing racial diversity into the cast, and he was like, no, I didn't make that choice. That was a DC thing. He just made it iconic, like how he wrote it.
I mean, I don't see what the problem is about it. I mean,
people like to complain about everything. That's really about it.
I mean, from my memory, there was only one black character in the Justice League cartoon, and that was Green Lantern. So I don't see what the problem is.
I think people were annoyed because they had established Kyle as the Green Lantern during the lead up to Justice League, and then they just did away with that. That's my guess.
Yes, but there's so many Green Lanterns that I feel like it doesn't matter.
Well, at that point in time, there was like one, because Hal killed the entire Green Lantern Corps.
Well, I just mean throughout history,
Yeah, I mean it was weird because technically Kyle was the main Green Lantern at that point. I don't even know if John got his powers back by then. I'm not sure about that. I'd actually have to look that up. The Green Lantern history is weird before Jeff Johns reworked it all. But I don't think McDuffie was actually the one responsible for that, though. He's just the one who made it work.
But I do think it's interesting too that they make a specific reference to the fact that Virgil watched anime growing up, like older anime, because a lot of the like fight scenes and stuff, like with the way that the art is done, it looks very anime-like, or almost like Avatar: The Last Airbender, like that kind of style. And it just like it pops a lot.
It definitely excuse me, it definitely has a look to it, and it stands
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, especially with when he's fighting Hot Streak, you get the contrast between the fire and the electricity.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, eventually, oh yeah, because we also have this whole thing, this whole like subplot going on with Darius, because he's like like he wants to be like an investigative reporter, and he keeps going off. He's like interviewing all these metahumans.
Was Darius a character before? Is he new for this run?
I think he's new. I think he's a new
Okay,
character.
because I don't remember him at all.
I'm pretty sure he is. A lot of the like the research that I've done, people have referred to him as a newer character.
Okay.
But he's like an upcoming like investigative reporter, like that's his dream, and he's going around and he's interviewing all these metahumans from the Big Bang and trying to get like their stories and trying to get like the full truth out there. So he's always doing like the YouTube streams and all that stuff. So he's even though he comes off like he's just like, oh, I want views and attention and clicks, but really he does care about what all these people are going through, and he's trying to do what he can to bring it all into the light, like really showcase like this is what's actually happening, because the media is painting a very different picture of the whole situation, especially since the government, at least from what we're to understand, the government is coming in and just fucking snatching people and sticking them in government black sites and shit. But eventually, like all of them get together and they're like, all right, we're gonna go and we're gonna storm the black site where they're holding all these metahumans.
The abandoned hardware facility.
Yes.
I love every time they bring it up, they have it in quotations as abandoned hardware facility or whatever it was called.
And they end up, because at first it's just like a big brawl between Static and Hot Streak, which starts off not going too well for Static, because apparently Francis has been working on his powers too, because he very quickly overwhelms Static.
He's also just works for the government now, apparently.
because that was a whole nother subplot too, is that Holocaust had been like gathering a bunch of these metahumans, essentially trying to like form his own metahuman army to just like fucking take over the city, kind of doing the whole like we're better than them kind of thing. And the second the fucking police came in and started fucking storming all of them, he just fucking dipped and left them all. Yeah. But Hot Streak was there, part of that whole group, and he got taken. And he basically did like a plea deal kind of thing where he's like, yeah, so you can keep me here, but if you give me immunity, I can point you to more metahumans. Like I know a lot of them by name, and I can just point them out to you and bring you to them. So they cut him the deal, and now he's working for them.
Yeah, and it's always the biggest douchebag that works for the government. I swear.
Yeah, it's fucking typical that he'd be the snitch.
Yeah.
So like the beginning part of the whole raid on the black site is mostly Static versus Hot Streak. And at first, Static is overwhelmed. Like he actually gets really fucked up by this. Like he gets fucking blasted. He's all burnt to shit.
Yeah.
But his sister had given him all those glucose tablets. So and apparently in this iteration, when he's at full power, his natural healing gets a boost. So he pretty much goes from 3rd-degree burns all over his body to just totally fine after eating a couple tablets. Which kind of makes him way more OP than he already was. I mean, I wouldn't think that, electricity power would give you speed healing, but
I swear every power gives you speed healing these days, because like the Flash has like healing abilities with the Speed Force.
Well, the Flash makes sense at least, because it's like everything in his body goes fast. His metabolism is fast, his healing is fast, everything's fast.
Sometimes.
So it makes sense.
A lot.
In theory, that the way that works makes sense. Um, I don't know how we get that from electricity, but whatever.
Metahumans. Just metahumans.
Sure, why not? Because you can't be a good hero without a healing factor.
Pretty much.
But ultimately, it ends up working out, and he actually ends up like manipulating the wires and like fucking just like strings them up with the wires and zaps the shit out of him.
Yeah, and they end up freeing a bunch of the captured metahumans, boom babies, whatever they are. And then the thing this annoyed me so much. They immediately like, well, the government said if we catch you, they'll totally not kill us, and I'm just like, why do they?
Like, did they tell you that while you were locked in your cell with the chip in your neck?
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, because the government's totally gonna help you. Like, Jesus Christ, that's a.
I did like though that in this scene where they're releasing all the metahumans that are trapped there. We see a lot of familiar faces from the old cartoon. We see Shiv, what's her name? The smoke lady, the harpy chick, like Talon. Yeah, we see a lot of familiar faces. The fuck, Derek Destruct. That was.
Oh yeah, the guy that took credit for what Virgil did earlier also has his own weird powers.
Yeah, because I actually remember it because he was in one of the issues of the original '90s comic that I read, and I remember him from the cartoon as well. Which is actually just like a normal kid, and he's literally only doing it because his family is too poor to fucking get by, and
yeah,
like his grandmother who supports them fucking lost her job because apparently she's too old.
Yeah, yeah.
So like, you actually kind of feel for him, but I mean, we don't really get any resolution for his whole thing.
No, we don't really get any resolution for any of them in there. They just kind of go away once the plot.
Well, I mean, aside from Destruct, none of them they're all villains anyway. So whatever.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
Yeah, that was such an annoying plot that they're like, well, the government said they'll help us. It's like, no, they won't. Like, I just hate that. That's such a recurring plot thread in like these things. I'm always like, yeah, the government's totally your friend, right?
Yeah. Yeah, typical, right. And then eventually the fucking like the G-Man is there referred to him, Jones, because of course his name is Jones. Yeah. He's like doing the whole like, oh, you can't get away, this and that, blah blah blah. And then because I think the place is like getting ready to like explode or something. I'm not 100% sure what was happening.
Sure.
But they were like, oh well, we need to like wipe the servers before we leave. So they lose up because apparently they can't like send the information out because they're trying to keep all the shit under wraps, so they can't just like digitally send it over the internet.
Yep.
Because the second it's on the internet, it's out there.
Yes.
But so they have it all locally saved, all the information on all the different metahumans, and they're like, all right, well, we got to wipe the servers before we leave, or else they're just going to come back and take us again. And then Static just like takes a bunch of tablets, just like fucking overcharge himself. And like I love this particular scene because it's this whole thing where Jones is doing the whole thing over the loudspeakers, like, oh, what do you think you're gonna do? You got to pull out some Deus Ex Machina and just fucking save the day or whatever. And he has like the sickest line where he's like, oh, I don't need no fancy magic weaponry and none of that shit. I am the god of the machine. And he just fucking like courses electricity through like pretty much the whole building and just zaps the shit out of the servers and fries it all.
Yeah. God damn
it. That line of I am the god of the machine. And like, hold on, let me try to find the fucking page because the art in that scene is incredible.
It's like they're like, you can't defeat us. It's like, I have electrical powers, bitch. Like electricity is like, electronics are my mercy.
Yeah, that page right there.
Yeah,
it's like I am the god of the machine. It's like the full white like electricity like aura around him. Like it's sick. But afterwards they get out and everything's cool. Basically, he's like having this whole conversation with his parents and his sister about like, yeah, I'm gonna do the superhero thing. People need help, and I'm gonna give it, and that's just how it is. And then his sister gives him the new outfit, which is just fucking perfect because it's like an updated version of the original one from the cartoon. It definitely leans more into the blacks as opposed to the blues, but I like it. It's a solid fit.
It works for the character
for sure. And then I just want to read this bit because at one point they hijack the media because the media is painting this whole different picture of what's going on.
Of course,
trying to make it seem like all the metahumans are the bad guys and like they're causing all these problems. So they hijack the media and they're Static's putting out his own message, and basically he's just saying like, oh, they're trying to say we're this and we're that, and he says, what we are is angry. I've been told that anger is dangerous, bad, and that all it leads to is trouble. But anger is just energy. Left unchecked and without purpose, anger can destroy, but we are not without purpose. If you are angry about the brutality that gets rained down on people, it's because deep down you know it shouldn't be that way and you want to change it. When channeled, anger can be the fuel that brings about great change and positive change. It can build and protect when directed. Anger can be revealed to be hope. And just like that whole speech, just fucking like, damn, that is such good writing. Like, I just love that whole bit. But also, we get a little bit of a stinger at the end because earlier when they were raiding the government black site, they found this room and they're like, oh, some shit went down here. They obviously holding a metahuman they couldn't handle, and he killed all these guards. And then at the end, we get the little stinger where the dude Jones is like, oh, I got to do all this stuff to stop it. And fucking he hears this voice in the darkness being like, hey, where's my brother? And you see like the shadows kind of envelop him. It's like very, very much teasing that Avon is going to be the lead thing for the next iteration of the story. Which is fantastic because Avon is such a good fucking character.
Yeah. No, I liked it. It was good. It was a good read. It was definitely not quite what I would normally read. Granted, this is the guy who likes the guy that goes fast. So
yeah. Hey, they both got lightning. It's fine. Actually, both of their emblems are a lightning bolt. So there you go.
Yeah. Although I don't even want to describe the Speed Force right now because god damn it, it's such a confusing mess.
Yeah. But no, I was a little bit more kind of just like trying to wrap my head around it the first time I read it. This time reading through it, I enjoyed it a lot. I really liked what they were doing with it and what they were building up and setting up for future stories. I think there's a lot of potential, and I have hope that we will get more Static stuff in the future, especially since we're getting like, the Dakota incident is coming out, and like because there's only one issue out for that right now, right? So it's still going.
If there is multiple, I'm not really sure.
I mean, when I looked on Amazon, it said 2026 to present. Like
that's not always the most accurate though. Actually, let me look that up right now because I'm actually not sure on that.
It just seems like it would make sense for it to be a longer, not necessarily longer, maybe like the same length as this, but
so according to Comic Geeks, it's a one shot.
So it's just a one issue.
Yeah, it's a bigger than normal issue, but it was mostly to piggyback off of the full size New History of the DC Universe that Mark Waid wrote.
Well, that's why I thought it was going to be like more to it, even if it would like went on like different, one shot stories. Like I assumed there was going to be a second trade for the history of the DC.
Well, my thoughts are there might be more one shots in the future for different things. Like there might be for different like subsections of the universe potentially.
You have the physical copy for Dakota Incident, don't you?
Yeah, I got the
feel like you posted that you had that. How many pages is it?
I'd have to double check on that. It's longer than a normal 48 pages. So it's a double size basically.
Gotcha.
I haven't read it yet because I got to finish reading a New History of the DC Universe first. But I've heard good things. It's got a good rating on Comic Geeks.
It's sold out on Amazon. Like
Oh yeah,
I bought the Kindle version just because I want to support anything static related, and I want them to see that we want more static. But
yeah. I bought the. That's why I bought the comic while I was there because I was at the time I was there to get the next Flash issue, and then I got the Spider-Man Superman crossover. Um, but I saw Dakota Incident there, and I figured, fuck it, why not grab that as
yeah,
well because it'll go with my
gotcha.
New History.
Mhm. Um, but yeah, I just want to see more static in the future. I just love the characters. I love the world that it builds. I will eventually get the Milestone compendiums because, well, I want to read the full static run, and that's apparently the only way you can do it unless you pay for a subscription.
Yeah,
And
I mean, the DC Universe app is not a bad option. Like there is a lot of it there. So.
that's true, but I also just I well, there's that, and I also kind of just want to delve into the Milestone universe in general. Like I'd like to read Icon, I'd like to read Hardware and Blood Syndicate.
Hmm.
I want to know more about the universe itself, not just necessarily static. But
Oh damn,
um,
I didn't even realize Static's New 52 run only lasted 8 issues. Sad.
that's actually longer than I thought.
That's pretty average for a lot of the New 52 books that did not go very far.
Yeah, um, that's a shame. But what are you gonna do? And then we didn't get anything new until this particular book because it was a big legal battle between Tony McDuffie's wife and DC.
Yeah. Well, DC did do some sneaky shit there, like DC did
Yeah,
at that time, where it was like, well, we own 50%, so we're just gonna do it.
yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and make Milestone 2.0, and she's like, no,
I own the other
actually
50.
no.
Yeah, I own the other 50%, sir.
So and it took like what, like fucking 7 years for them to fucking work that out.
Yeah, the relaunch didn't happen until 2011. Yeah, and then no, not 2011, 2015, and this didn't come out till 2021. So yeah, took a
Yeah,
bit there.
but I mean, I have read the follow up to this, The Shadows of Dakota, and I like that one even more than this one because I feel
Okay.
like that one is because the Static season one here was kind of like that was the kickoff to the new Milestone like reboot universe.
Hmm.
Um, and so obviously it had to set up more than just Static because
Yeah,
the
because
Big Bang is the exciting incident for all of the Milestone universe.
yeah, because
Um,
I'm looking at a little chart here of it, and there's Static. Year one had Static season one, it had Icon and Rocket season one, and Hardware season one. Then
mhm.
Static didn't return until year three, apparently, with Shadows of Dakota.
Yeah, and that ran for I think 7 issues.
Yes.
Um, but because at that point the new reboot universe had already been established, it just focused on the story it wanted to tell, and it does such a good job. Like honestly, like I think Static season one and Shadows of Dakota could easily be like a duology like of movies, and it would be really really good. Honestly, like I don't want to go into detail because I'm sure we'll cover Shadows at a later date, but they do a really good job of humanizing Avon, and that's something that the cartoon never did. Um, to the point where they actually made him like really sympathetic.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was good. I really liked it. I actually one of the other comics I got this week was the standalone Up All Night static book.
Yep.
I don't know if it's supposed to take place in this rebooted timeline or if it's just supposed to be a static story in general or what, but
Yeah, it's unclear. The whole layout of all the milestone stuff is kind of confusing. I'm not gonna lie.
and it's especially confusing too because the Up All Night standalone came out the same month as Shadows of Dakota.
Hmm.
Like I think Up All Night came out at the beginning of that month, and Shadows of Dakota came out at the end of that month. So it was a weird situation.
Oh no, Up All Night was one of those DC graphic novels for young adults. That's what it was.
Oh,
That's a separate imprint that DC's been doing because there's I have a
is
Superman.
there a bunch of isn't there a bunch of Titans ones that are like
There's
that?
there's a bunch of Titans ones, and one of my favorite Superman storylines of all time is Superman Superman smashes the Klan.
Is that what it sounds like?
Yes, he's Superman versus the KKK basically.
Okay,
all
and
right. It is great.
I might have to pick up that run.
So what the thing about that book that drives me nuts is it was written by a Gene Yang, who's a good writer, but he has the insane distinction of writing one of my favorite Superman stories, which is that, and like literally one of my least favorite, which is the Truth Before Truth storyline. Like he is
they
like,
can't all be winners.
He's also the guy that wrote the first like 5 volumes of the Avatar comic. So
oh, okay, that was actually really good.
It was good, other than
like the bit of that I read, at least I really liked.
The first storyline was kind of it was something. I did enjoy The Search though. The Search was pretty fun.
Yeah, that was the first and the second are the ones that I read, and I never got around to getting the rest of them. Maybe we'll at some point.
I stopped after The Search.
Yeah. It was like, oh, I got more about Azula. That's all I really cared about.
He found his mom. That's all I cared about. I
Yeah, he
wanted
found
to find
his
his mom.
Yeah. Mommy, no. But yeah, so that's Static season 1. I am happy we got it. I'm glad that Static is still getting something.
Yeah, because he's getting that Batman Beyond crossover soon, which is...
Well, the run itself has ended. The trade comes out in, I think, August.
Okay.
So, pre-orders are up. I haven't pre-ordered it yet, but I will.
I hope that's Terry. That's Terry Batman Beyond and not Tim Drake. Why was Tim Drake Batman Beyond? I don't understand. Either way.
I believe it is Terry Begins.
Good, because that's another thing where fucking DC has no idea what to do with Batman Beyond in the comics. But DC doesn't know what to do with a lot of stuff. They've gotten so much better, but they still have a few things that they got to figure out. Yeah, I like that though. It was a fun read.
Yeah. Eventually, we'll have to come back around and do Shadows of Dakota.
Yeah. We'll probably shift through a few other comics in the meantime, but I gotta lend you my my DC Infinite password so you can like look through some stuff.
Yeah,
I don't know how Infinite does sharing. I'll have to look into that because hopefully it's not Netflix levels of stupid.
I mean, at the moment, I'm still getting the compacts, and there are some other trades that I plan on getting, and some like big omnibuses that I want to get too. So
yeah, is the
universe? I love my physical media.
Yeah, the universe app is nice though, in case like say you get like something like, say you really like Nightwing Leaping into the Light, rather than say buying like the 7 other fucking trades, you could just read it on the app, which is nice.
That's fair. I don't know. I'm a snob about reading though. I like turning pages.
Yeah, no, I get that. It's just some of these are intimidating though. Like some of these runs, like the Scott Snyder Batman run, that's like 10 volumes. Like, goes on for a while. Plus, like all the side shit, like it's crazy. And then he had another run during Rebirth era.
Jeez.
But yeah. So, figured now is a good enough time to get into the segment. Where's my thing? I had a Discord pop up. Go away. Halo anime time. Where's the music? Okay. So for this episode of Halo anime time, we're talking about the penultimate segment of Halo Legends, the babysitter. Uh,
This one is your favorite, correct?
yes, and I still think it is.
Hmm.
This one was animated. This was the third and final one done by Studio 4 Degrees Celsius. And it was also the first one aired, believe it or not, even though it's the penultimate in the listing.
That's bizarre.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them didn't even get aired. Like a lot
Hmm.
of them, they just waited until they put it on Netflix.
Weird.
Yeah. So the babysitter. What were your initial thoughts?
At first, I was. Well, the first time I watched it, I was kind of like half paying attention, so I was a little underwhelmed just because of how you built it up. But then I watched it right before I came over to record this episode, and like I was actually like sitting and like watching on the TV and paying attention. On that second watch through, I was picking up on a lot more that I liked about it, about
What were
the
your
character
thoughts?
relations and such.
What were your thoughts on douchey Spike Spiegel?
Oh, O'Brien,
Yeah, he's just Spike Spiegel. That design.
the fucking ODST that has severe Napoleon complex.
Yeah. Well, I always laugh at this one because when I first watched it, I'm like, why the fuck is Spike Spiegel here? And then the one guy that dies, I'm like, that's just Boomhauer. Like, and I was very upset when he died. I was like, oh no, Boomhauer, no.
No.
So the babysitter's interesting because it follows the ODSTs, a group of hell jumpers, and they're going on this important mission to kill a Covenant prophet.
Yeah, it's an assassination mission.
And they're basically this, like, you get that funny scene at the start where you get like the one like soldier's like, oh, I want to go hang out with these guys, and the other guy's like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Can't you see they're fucking aura farming in the corner there?
Yeah, that's the cool kids table. You don't get to sit there.
You don't get to sit at the cool kids table. I also love how every guy in that shot, like all those generic soldiers, all had the same fucking face. Like,
pretty much, yeah.
and that one that was in line getting food was so happy when his food arrived. I was like, yeah, that's relatable.
I was in I loved like the exterior shot of the ship at the beginning. Like that looked really nice.
This studio does a good work, and I'm glad they actually had to do something original this time, not just origin stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we meet our gang in the corner there. We got Sergeant Cortez, Private O'Brien, who's a sharpshooter, but he's got a severe Napoleon complex, and he's essentially just got he's got a complex in general. There's Corporal Taylor Miles, and then there's Corporal Checkman, who looks like Boomhauer and then dies. He's the first one that dies.
Yeah, O'Brien's the only one whose name I actually remember, and that's only because his name is O'Brien.
And he's also the only one that really matters in this thing because the other three are mostly there for set dressing.
Pretty much.
But they're going on their mission, and they're going to be accompanied by a Spartan. And I gotta say, this Spartan is fucking huge. Like this one is built.
Especially when she's standing next to O'Brien too, because
Like,
even compared to his normal like ODST like group, like they're all way taller than him. Like, well, first of all, like once I became aware that the Spartan in question was a lady, and you see them standing next to each other, it's like, dude, if she wasn't wearing the suit, the bottom of her tits wouldn't even touch the top of his head. Like she's fucking huge.
She was a fucking fucking Amazon woman. But
For real.
yeah, they don't reveal that she's a woman until the end of the short. But throughout the thing, like he's got such a fucking complex about this Spartan.
Especially when she like baby carries him that one time. That was fucking hilarious.
Well, she keeps having to rescue his ass, like, and they flat out say that too, like he's trying to fucking rescue your ass multiple times, and I'm just like,
yeah, you can at least say thank you, asshole.
Because he's such a dickhead for no reason throughout the entire thing.
Again, Napoleon complex, and this is coming from me. So.
Yes, and the fact that the Spartan inevitably dies is 100% his fault too.
Oh, for sure. Well, once again, he needed to be saved, and she took a fucking gravity hammer to the face, which apparently is enough to kill a Spartan too. So.
Yeah. Sometimes, Master Chief probably would have been fine.
Well, that's because he's Master Chief. He has plot armor.
Yeah, he pretty much. Or the guy from Odd One Out, because he probably would have just lucked his way into surviving. But
yeah, he would have had some like gag shit.
He had anime. He had straight up anime power. He would have survived.
He just would have Team Rocketed and been fine.
And they would have been salty and had to run all the way back.
Yep.
Yeah, they go through like a whole bunch of different scenes though, like because it starts out like it's like a lot of things just keep going wrong, and O'Brien bitches the entire time to the point where his commander's like, "If you keep on bitching, they're gonna hear us from miles away at this rate."
Yeah. Which is funny too because he's the only one that fucking be noticed when they try to be sneaky. The grunt fucking hears him because he fucking steps on a twig like an idiot.
Yeah, and I love how many times he has to get rescued. But yeah, eventually they get to the spot and they're basically like staked out, getting ready to make the shot, and then O'Brien, being distracted, alerts a what species is that? I'm not really sure.
I don't remember that one in particular.
Halo species with gravity hammer shows up, and the Spartan comes in to protect him and gets like fucking whaled in the face.
It might be a brood. Is that what it is? A brood? It's been so long since I played Halo, especially like any of the later Halos. I don't even remember.
I don't know Halo enough, but yeah, like she gets basically like completely just taken out, and they end up killing the thing. But in the haste of that whole thing, they end up pulling her helmet off, revealing it's a lady. It's like a lady, not even like just like a. Like she's got the long flowing hair, and it's like surprise.
Yeah, she got like the Griffith hair going on.
But
she's like fucking bleeding all over the place. She's like, "You have to take the shot, O'Brien."
Oh yeah, because he's just like staring at her because it's like the first time he's like seen a woman before, I guess. And she's like, "Take the shot." Which
Apparently,
he
the
does.
fact that it's a woman completely changed his opinion of her.
Yeah, yeah, he's not a great character at all.
No.
Yeah, it was just he ends up though taking the shot, getting it, and taking out the Prophet. And then they end up she ends up giving the little chip that has all the data and basically tells them to go on without her because she's not going to make it, which was kind of tragic. I'm like, because you ended up really liking the Spartan throughout this one.
Mm-hmm.
Because she was like the only competent fucking person on this mission, I swear.
It's kind of like the point of the Spartans, though. They're supposed to be super soldiers.
True.
I mean, she even fucking like that is not the first. I think they're brutes that they end up encountering because they fought one earlier, and she's just literally throwing hands with the first one. Like,
yeah,
just takes it down using her fists.
I love the scene too early on where like O'Brien's ship is like sinking in the water. Like, we have to get him, save him quickly. Let's go get the gear. And then she just like, I got this. She just picks it up and carries it out, and then just chucks it.
That's one thing I noticed the second watch through. I don't know what they were doing with that particular scene, but when she's like pulling on the pod about to throw it, her body is like all fucked up. Like,
yeah, that was an animation thing where I'm like, ooh, that didn't look great.
Yeah, that was like the one bit where I was like she was pretty proportional throughout the whole thing, except for that one little scene where she's pulling on the pod to throw it, and it's just like, oh god, what is going on with your torso?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but they eventually do end up getting back to the ship, and then that dipshit soldier from the start is like, I'm gonna go sit with these guys, and then immediately starts talking shit about the Spartan, and they're just like, get the fuck out of here. Like, go away.
Yeah, fucking O'Brien throws an apple at his face.
And he's all just like moody and emo again, and I'm just like, damn.
Yeah.
He had character development, but I don't know if it was the right character development.
It's kind of hard to, I mean, it's kind of hard to show much character development when you only have like a 12-minute short to work with.
This is another one that I feel like could have been like a series.
Yeah, for sure. Or maybe not like a full series, maybe like a special, like a 40-minute special would have been fine.
A series, or like they like did like an alternating thing where like they say they did like a thing with like they paired it up with Prototype, and then they would just like switch off every other episode.
Yeah, that would work too. Either way, it was an enjoyable short. I liked it a lot the second time I watched it.
I do think in hindsight, Prototype might be the better short now that I've watched them all.
Yeah, I think so far. I mean, we'll see with the last one, but I think as of now, Prototype is my favorite. Might be biased because I just fucking love Studio Bones, the work they do. I also think that just emotionally, that one hit harder than all the others.
Yeah, I think the thing with this one is like this one had some real emotional potential, but they didn't give us enough time, which was the problem.
Yeah, we're a Prototype. They managed to get their point across with what they were doing, and the other characters weren't really. The only characters that matter were Ghost and the fucking his old squad that died years earlier.
Yeah. See, the thing with Babysitter is this one has like the most defined characters, I'd say. Like, just there's like an actual like group of people, and I'm like, these guys I want to like follow, but there's just not enough time. And they kill the most interesting. They kill like the most interesting one because before we get to really even know her.
Yeah, for sure.
But
no, it was good. It was good.
I liked it. I still do like it. It's one of the better of the entire set, I'd say. But we do only have one more. We have the package, which is the final one, and also the only one that actually stars Master Chief.
Like from beginning to end.
Yeah. It's like the only one that's basically revolving around game canon. So we'll get to that one next week when we wrap up Halo anime time, as they say.
Yeah. Oh, and I also forgot to mention earlier as well. I know by this point all the people who came to listen to Static have probably already clipped off. But Static Shock has finally been put onto Tubi, so that's there for anybody who wants to watch it.
Nice. I might actually have to peek in on that because I have not watched that show in forever.
I've watched episodes here and there over the years. I think maybe 15 years ago or something. I actually watched all the way through again, but it's been a bit. And
see, I'm just annoyed because it never got like a proper DVD release like the rest of them did.
Yeah, they only got like season sets, and I don't even think they ever reprinted them like that. I don't think they're in print anymore.
It didn't get a nice fancy box set like the rest of the DC universe, not counting the Zeta Project because no one cares about the Zeta Project.
No, unfortunately not. But yeah, when I finish the CW verse, I plan on watching. That's what I'm gonna plow through Black Clover finally, and then once I finish
Black Clover's over, by the way. Black Clover ended.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Jesus.
But yeah, then I'm gonna plow through the Black Clover anime, and then when I finish that, I'm planning on committing to the DC animated universe. So I'll go through all that, including Static Shock. So
let me know when you start that, because that might actually be a fun one to cover for the show.
The animated universe as a whole, or a particular show?
Might be able to do them progressively as we get through them.
All right, fair enough.
Because I can, when you start Batman, I'll start Batman. Because I've been meaning to rewatch all of those.
I technically started it a while back, but I only got like 15 or 20 episodes in, and then I was like, I should probably hold off until I finish CW.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, those are such.
Kind of think of it. I think I only started because I had to wait for CW because I had to get my hands on the Arrow DVDs.
Fair. I mean, those are timeless and they're quick watches, so that shouldn't be too hard to rewatch.
Yeah, it'll go quick. So I'm looking forward to that for sure.
Nice. Alrighty. Well, I guess now is a good enough time. Once again, guys, thank you for joining us on Geek Addicts. You can find Geek Addicts on all the major podcasting platforms. Be sure to check us out over on the Superpod Network, superpodnetwork.com. Awesome site where you can check out all sorts of different videos, blogs, podcasts. Super Game Club just wrapped up. We're voting on the next Game Club game. It's Bad Games this month, so check that fun shit out. That list is terrible. It's amazing.
What did you put on there?
I nominated Batman Dark Tomorrow.
Oh, fun.
If you know, you know. That's all I'll leave to that. Yeah, so anyways, guys, once again, thank you for joining us, and we will see you all later.
Have a good one.